Good morning, kids. Dad here on a beautiful, beautiful February, Friday the 13th. It's 12:50 p.m. and it is a beautiful, fantastic day because I got to go outside into the barn and do 15 minutes of cardio, and my back held up for it. So, yeah, just like usual, lasts for about 5 days or so until it finally loosens back up and I can start doing some things again. And I get to have some work meetings this afternoon here in about 10 minutes. I get to have actually kind of my first big important one. So that'll be interesting. But I'm feeling comfortable, confident. It's nothing I haven't done before. And then tonight, I get to do something I kind of want to talk about a bit. Something I wanted to talk about a bit. Talk about a bit. Talk about a bit. Yeah, sometimes words sound funny. I'm going up to Wyzetta tonight, and I'm going to leave right after work, get up there by 7, and there's a place, it's a recovery center. So what happens is some people, they start using drugs or alcohol, and they become addicted to the point where they can't stop, and it becomes a problem. They're drinking alcohol or doing drugs, every day. And one way for people, when they realize they have that kind of a problem, can become very hard to do simple things like take a shower in the morning for them. Certainly they have trouble keeping a job, keeping a house. Relationships become very hard for them. So their life really starts to fall apart when you start using drugs and alcohol regularly. So at some point, people have enough pain and enough things they lose in their life that they realize I need help. And one option people will do is they will go to what's called a recovery center. Sometimes they're called treatment center. It's basically think of it like a summer camp for adults, where these people will go to a kind of like a college campus for about 30 days, 30 to 90 days, and they'll live there. And they have a cafeteria. They have like dorm rooms. And they will basically not be allowed to leave. But it's their choice to go there. So it's not like jail, but they choose to go there. And they bring, a bag of clothes and whatnot, just like a summer camp. And what they do there is there's no alcohol or drugs there. And they're not allowed to leave. So that, in theory, they can't go drink alcohol, can't go do drugs, can't really leave. And during that 30 days or that 60, that 90 days, they take a lot of classes on techniques, tools, methods to stop using drugs or alcohol. They get clean and they learn how to deal with life's challenges without resorting to picking up a bottle of beer or a glass of what you guys call mommy juice or whatever kinds of drugs. And after 30, 60, 90 days, they'll leave there and they'll go to like a sober house, which is kind of like they'd have some roommates and it's a house that there's no alcohol allowed on the property. That's what Bravo Zulu House is. We don't allow any drugs or alcohol here. If anybody uses drugs or alcohol, I get to kick them out. So maybe they'll go to a place like that, or maybe they'll go back home, wherever their home is, be it with their family, be it, living by themselves, whatever it is. So tonight, after work, I'm going up to Wyzetta to a place called The Retreat, and I'm going to take a meeting into there. And so basically, I'm going to go there, and there's going to be, 30, 40 guys who are currently living there in treatment, in that treatment center, that recovery center. And I'm just going to bring them a meeting. So we'll probably sit down in a group, and we'll start by reading a couple passages out of a book. And it's a book about how to not drink alcohol. And then we're going to probably have some conversation, some discussion. And the reason I like doing that is because, well, first of all, it's a Friday night. What else do I have to do tonight? Well, I could watch the Olympics. I could go to the American Legion, joke around with some guys. I could probably hang out with some guys here at Bravo Zulu House. I got a friend with a comedy club in St. Paul. I could probably go see a comedy show. But what do I have to do that's better than helping somebody else? And by going into a place like the Retreat Recovery Center, I can talk to those guys, and I promise you, because I've done this several times, they're going to have questions for me. They're going to be like, oh my gosh, you don't drink alcohol anymore, Ryan? And I'll be like, no, I haven't for 14 months. And they'll say, oh my gosh, how do you do that? Well, what do you do when you get stressed out? Well, how do you avoid, what do you do when somebody else is having a beer right there and they ask you if you want one? They're going to have a bunch of questions. So for me, being able to see those guys who are in a very bad place in life, they're miserable, right? Because their life's falling apart. That's why they're there. Nobody goes to a place like that if their life's going fantastic. So they've probably lost a lot of things, whether it's their job, their house, their family, all of the above. But they're trying to get help. They're trying to get better. So they're people who want help, know they need help. They're taking the right step by going and living there for a month or two. But they just need the help. So it's a chance for me to go and be helpful. And I've talked to enough guys now over the past 14 months. I've been there enough times to know that a lot of those guys have told me after they finish there, after they graduate from there, they've come back to me and said, you know what, Ryan? That those Friday nights when you and some of your buddies would come in there and talk to us, that was the best night of my week. I look forward to that Friday night every month, every week on Friday. That whole month I was there, that was the best part, man. And I met guys afterwards, and some of them, they'll leave that place, and some of them within a week, some within a day, they'll leave there and they'll pick up a drink and start drinking again. They'll go right back to their old ways. But some of them, about 20 to 30%, they will not drink again. And they'll start getting their life back together. They'll start doing the right thing. And for me, that's really inspiring. That's really, really enjoyable and satisfying. So that's what I'm going to do tonight. This video is 7 minutes long. I got my work meeting starting in 3 minutes. Maybe I'll talk to you a little bit more about the experience. But that's what I'm doing tonight. I hope that I can talk to you guys more about this. Because to me, being able to be of service, go in, talk to a bunch of people who are in a bad place in life, share with them some of my experience, maybe help them out a little bit with my experience, what I've learned. It's a wonderful thing. So love you, kids. We'll talk soon.